Yo, what's good? You are now tuning in to Hot Streak Podcast, episode 27 in full effect. It's your boy Carlos in the building, and I am not alone.
What's good? What's good? It's the boy Saif.
Young Saif.
We out here.
Yeah, man. So, we're gonna bring you some NBA news. Not exclusive NBA news, but we're gonna have some NBA news in there. Mainly just basketball news. Quick shout out to LiAngelo and LaMelo Ball making their pro debuts earlier this week in Lithuania. They combined for 29 points, I believe, 11 assists, and like 10 rebounds.
Did they win?
They did win. LiAngelo had 19 points, and I think LaMelo had 10, and he had a double actually. Yeah, man, they are 18, 19, and 16 years old, so they're pretty young out there in Lithuania balling. LeVar Ball is probably one of the best businessmen of the year so far. He had Big Baller brand all over the court, literally on the court, like not just like people wearing it, but like it was advertised on the court. It's the preseason, and he's actually made the Lithuanian team that they play on withdraw from the Lithuanian league so they could play all over Europe.
Damn.
Yeah, so he's trying to get his kids the most exposure and the most...
He took over.
Yeah, he basically took over the team. He's like the GM. It's pretty crazy.
Dude, you know LeVar actually, like, him making them go from America to Lithuania at young ages and becoming pros? Bro, that's like a whole nother, like, NBA 2K storyline right there. Like, we've only seen like the college to, high school to college to NBA, that route on like 2K on your My Player.
Hey, I bet anything 2K is gonna buy into that, and they're gonna develop a story.
We're all gonna be playing in Lithuania.
Yeah, we're all gonna be playing in Lithuania with LaMelo and LiAngelo on our team. Somehow. Yeah, LeVar's gonna be there.
We'll be playing in the Big Baller Classics. Like, LeVar's taking over, man.
Speaking of LeVar, a man who does not shy away from the microphone or the camera, he again has criticized Luke Walton. The Lakers were in a pretty nasty losing slump. I think they lost like 8 straight or 7 straight. And he said that Luke Walton has lost the team and they need to fire him. Essentially, he said they need to fire him. And my man Kyle Kuzma comes out the next day and says, "You know what, man? Luke's my guy. I love playing for Luke. We believe in Luke, and we also have the front office who believes in Luke." I think December was a rough month for the Lakers just because injuries piled up, and then the whole KCP jail sentence. So they didn't have enough. They didn't have starters on the floor when they needed starters on the floor, and they just dropped a couple games. They lacked defensive intensity. They got blown out a couple games, so they lost some confidence. But I look for the Lakers to bounce back pretty soon, and I don't think Luke is in the hot seat. You can't really have all these championship expectations with Luke Walton since it's his first year in charge of a team. I think he has a learning curve as well as the players. So they're going to learn together. There's going to be some bumps on the road, but overall, I think Luke Walton's doing a good job establishing the culture and making the players compete, especially the young guys.
Dude, I feel bad for Luke, man. He's got all this pressure on him already. The Lakers are already dysfunctional. The locker room's already split.
Yeah, there's a split.
A lot of problems.
There is a split in that locker room. I do think that too.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously LeVar is just kind of like putting his 2 cents in and like shows whose side he's on,
Yeah.
But it's weird though. Like, I don't know. I think the front office, like, they're trying to trade Randall, Larry Nance, and who else? Clarkson. Yeah. So all these 3 guys were from the former front office, all drafted by the former front office. I think Magic's pissed off. They've been on this losing streak. I think like Rob and the rest of the front office are like kind of just trying to clean house with these guys. Even if they don't get rid of Luol Deng, I think they're still trying to get rid of the other 2 because I believe Clarkson already said, "I want to trade." Like, they both are mutual on that.
Clarkson said he's interested in the trade. I mean, he has lacked minutes in the fourth quarter. Last year in the previous season, he was in the fourth quarter. He was basically the starting point guard last year. Even with D'Angelo there, they were the two combo guards, and they worked well together. But I don't think the system is working in favor of Jordan Clarkson. Same thing with Julius Randle. I think Julius Randle is a good player. I just don't think that he fits with what the Lakers want to do. They need a superstar, and they need a superstar in the paint, basically in the power forward position or in the 3 spot, and that honestly takes away from Julius Randle's development. So if you can get something for him that is another bargaining chip or another player who has some stock in him, then that could bring more free agency attraction to Los Angeles. I mean, he still hasn't developed a jump shot. He's still out of control. He still commits way too many turnovers. So I think Julius Randle and Jordan Clarkson are for sure on their way out. I'm definitely thinking that they are going to get traded pretty soon. From what I've seen and from what I've heard, DeMarcus Cousins is the biggest target for this trade season. They need to establish a superstar in the locker room. A lot of people don't like Boogie, but the man can ball, and I think that he would fit well with the organization just because he has that personality where the big bright lights don't scare him, and LA is a perfect spot for him, I think.
Yeah, I think Randall would fit well in the Lakers system if he could just realize his position as a role player and not want to play all the minutes, because he comes in with that fourth quarter energy. He comes in with that. He just comes in with a different energy, and he kind of has a way of taking over the games, even though sometimes it's too reckless and like ball hog, selfish, all that stuff. He goes in though, like he makes an impact when we need it. He brings that energy level, and he can turn a game around. But he can only if he's cool with sharing these small minutes and not playing a huge role. Like that could be his role right there.
Yeah, some people, they got to check their egos. Like when he got demoted to the bench, he was obviously vocal about it, and it's for the benefit of the team. Basketball's a team sport, so he shouldn't be looking at it like, oh, they're cutting my minutes. I'm not going to be starting. This is a new role for him. He needs to embrace the role. I don't think he's taking it very well though. And
he thinks he's going to get lowballed when the new contracts come up.
Yeah. As far as Larry Nance, I really hope the Lakers don't trade Larry Nance, because he brings that energy, and he brings that defense, and the basketball IQ. He has a very high basketball IQ. I think he should stay with the Lakers at least. Maybe not sign him to a major deal, obviously, because he's not a major deal type of player. But he plays scrappy, he plays hard, and you could tell that he leads by example.
Yeah, that's for sure, dude.
Yeah, and around the league, there's been some issues. We've hinted at it before with the referee player issues. Carmelo had an interesting take on this. He believes that the issues between the referees and the players in the game is due to a lack of dialogue between the ref and the players. I think that it's very inconsistent with the foul calls, with the especially offensive fouls. I don't think that they're called consistently enough, and then obviously that leads to frustration in the players, telling refs to, go screw off or whatever and getting ejected, and it just takes away from the game. I think Kevin Durant got ejected 3 times this season. That's like the most he's ever been ejected in a season. LeBron has been ejected. There's been a lot of just off the court issues with the ref player feuds, and I don't know what the next step is for the NBA to kind of get this more consistent.
Yeah, it's gonna take, I don't know, because like at the end of the day, you're gonna have the same emotions. You're gonna have players cussing at refs. Like, I know these players get crazy sometimes, and it's because they're passionate, So they're saying shit to the refs that you say to someone you don't like, when really they're just saying it out of frustration and then get a call. But the refs aren't going to get every call right, and they do a pretty decent job. Like, even without looking at slow mo, a lot of times I'm like, damn, I didn't see that. I don't know how they saw that, but I don't know. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, same thing with the video replays. They're reviewing plays that are kind of like, I could see it on my TV. How could you not see it if you're 4 feet away? It takes away from the flow of the game. It extends the game. I feel like basketball has the best flow in professional sports right now, aside from international soccer. I think that's like something you can't really change because the format of the game is different. But basketball, the clock is always running. There's only about, I think, 5 timeouts a game. 30-second timeouts have been eliminated, so every timeout is 20 seconds. And then the refs take 4 minutes to review an out-of-bounds play within the last 2 minutes. So it's like, it's frustrating because the lack of consistency. And I could see it from the players. They're just like, yo, we want to play ball. We want to win games. And if we lose, we want to lose fair and square. We don't want to lose based off of a ref's decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know.
It's gonna keep going like that. I don't think the NBA is gonna step in and do anything that's gonna be impactful.
No, and then as far as players and early MVP candidates, I would say Giannis is on the top of the list, but the reigning MVP has returned from his ankle injury, and I think his first game back, he nailed 12 3-pointers. Mr. Automatic. Steph Curry, he's been on fire, man. He scored 45 points last weekend, 40 in 30 minutes for the third time in his career, and he didn't even play the fourth quarter. So I think the Warriors are they're back, man. With Steph Curry leading the helm, they can definitely look to repeat this season. Boston's been playing really well still. The power rankings are pretty much the same. We got the Warriors in first, Boston in second, the Cavs in third, Toronto in fourth, Houston in fifth. James Harden's out for 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Hamstring injury, so they've dropped a little bit in the power rankings. The Spurs have also dropped sixth. Minnesota's coming up. They actually blew out Cleveland earlier in the week. That was a really one-sided game. I think the Timberwolves just punched Cleveland in the mouth. OKC's playing better, but it looks like Paul George is not going to stay. The only bargaining chip Russell Westbrook said that they could have to convince players to come to OKC and is win games, win championships. I don't think that's going to happen this year. There's been talks of this next team getting rid of one of their superstars. The Washington Wizards have a nice backcourt in John Wall and Bradley Beal, but I've heard rumors of Bradley Beal potentially being traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know how concrete these rumors are, but we know John Wall's not going anywhere. That's their franchise right there. But if Bradley Beal did leave the Eastern Conference and go to the Pelicans, I think the Wizards are going to be in some trouble, man. They're not going to have enough offense.
Yeah, dude, that would take away a lot. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, and Milwaukee is in 10th to round out the top 10 of these power rankings. Let's see. The Lakers are in the bottom of the pack. Like I said earlier, they're struggling with some teams that you think that they should be able to put away. They lost to, I forgot who they lost to earlier in the week. And they lost to Charlotte, and they lost pretty bad to Charlotte. But with Lonzo back, Brook Lopez is back. They actually released Andrew Bogut, and they signed, I believe is Jamil Wilson to a 10-day contract. So they've been making moves. Like I said before, I think they are potentially lining up that trade to bring in Boogie I think it's going to be a 3-team trade. They could possibly get rid of both Larry Nance and Julius Randle just to secure Boogie, but there's going to be a 3-team trade just because they need another bargaining chip to go to New Orleans to fill the void that DeMarcus Cousins leaves if he does end up getting traded.
Yeah, I don't see them trading him, but I see a lot of teams probably coming after. Sometimes teams will say though that they're not on the trading block just so that other teams try to up the ante a little bit, and then they get more than what they originally thought they could. But
yeah, most definitely.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, February is when the trade deadline is, so we have basically like a month and a half to see what unfolds in the NBA season, man. And I'm pretty excited just because the whole landscape of the league can change in a matter of hours. So that should be pretty interesting. I think that's pretty much it for the NBA segment, unless Saif has anything else to add on.
Nah, that's pretty much it, man. We'll get back to you guys. Enjoy the music. Some more NFL news, soccer coming up.
Hey, what's up, guys? DJ ADM. You're now listening to Hot Streak Podcast.
And we're back on Hot Streak with some NFL news coming at you. The playoffs are in full effect. Saif, did you catch any of the games?
I didn't, but I got to catch the highlights. And to be honest, I'm so into football, but after my team lost, I was kind of salty. And I was like, I'm not going to make it a huge priority to watch the playoffs.
Yeah. So Saturday's games were pretty good. Tennessee versus Kansas City. I was watching that game, and I was specifically because John Gruden was calling the game, and we'll have a little bit more on him a little bit later. But Tennessee versus Kansas City in Kansas City. Kansas City has lost 5 straight home playoff games, trying to break that streak. And Tennessee, with Marcus Mariota starting in his first NFL playoff game. So they were without DeMarco Murray. And they lined up with Derrick Henry in the backfield. So their pass offense struggles against a nice defense like the Kansas City Chiefs defense. So you would expect that in the first half, it was pretty much Kansas City winning the game the whole way through. And then an interesting thing happened. Travis Kelce got hurt. He got he got hit in the head and he was wobbly, so they took him into the concussion protocol and he didn't return to the game. So then all of a sudden the Kansas City offense just became very stagnant. They let the Tennessee Titans defense get some momentum, and Tennessee scored 19 unanswered points to win the game. Yeah, they ended up winning 22-21. Kansas City has now lost 6 straight playoff games at home. That is a NFL record. So I thought the Chargers were the Los Angeles Chokers, but I believe it's the Kansas City Chokers now. That's crazy. And as far as the NFC goes, Atlanta played the Rams, and the Rams, I mean, inexperienced team, youngest head coach in the league, second-year quarterback, very nice defense. Their defense played really great, but their special teams really shot themselves in the foot, man. They fumbled 2 times on 2 separate punts, and the Atlanta Falcons just took advantage. The Falcons ended up winning 26-13. Shout out to Alan Patrick, the homie. He was actually at the game. And I was Snapchatting him, and I was like, "Ha, the Rams suck." But he's like
a new dad. He's a new dad.
Not yet, but yes, he will be a new dad.
Congrats!
Yeah, shout out to Alan. And then Sunday, the Buffalo Bills played the Jacksonville Jaguars, which was probably the lowest scoring playoff game ever. I feel like 1 touchdown. Jacksonville's offense is not very good, but their defense is amazing. And
Blake
Bortles led the way with almost 90 rushing yards. This guy's 6'7", and he was running the ball like designed.
Blake Bortles 6'7"?
Yeah, designed running plays for a 6'7" quarterback, and he wasn't sliding, man. Like all these hits, like he was taking some hits. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, sprinkle a little bit of respect on Blake Bortles' name. He throws 5 interceptions a game, but he has 1 playoff win.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then the highlight of the weekend was actually the New Orleans versus Carolina game. That one was came down to the last play of the game. Cam Newton actually got sacked. So, but he came back. He got hit pretty hard, went into the concussion protocol, came back out, led his team to 2 fourth quarter touchdowns to get within 1 score, but they didn't have enough to break off on the Saints and win the game. So the Saints came out with the win. So as I said before, we were talking about John Gruden. John Gruden, a.k.a. the next coach of the Oakland Raiders, got a 10-year, $100 million contract. This is the first long-term contract for the Raiders as a head coach in, 15 or 16 years. John Gruden was traded before, in 2002 or 2001, he was traded after the Tuck rule game when Tom Brady fumbled the ball and they ended up losing in that AFC divisional playoff. Yeah, he was traded to the Buccaneers.
They trade coaches?
Yeah, apparently Al Davis was so pissed he traded him. John Gruden ended up winning a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay the next season against the Raiders, and then he led the Buccaneers a couple more seasons. I believe it was like 3 more seasons, and then he went into the booth to call some games. Apparently, Mark Davis said that he actually had his press conference earlier this week where Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, revealed that he has been trying to get John Gruden to coach the Raiders since 2012. And he's finally been able to achieve that. He wanted to pair the GM, Reggie McKenzie, with John Gruden because he does believe that they are very good and we'll have a very good time choosing personnel for this team. The coaching staff is pretty much set up. John Gruden will be calling the offensive plays, and he says, I think the direct quote was, he never wanted to leave, and it's the best thing in his career that he's back with the Raiders, and they're going to win multiple championships. So hopefully that does come into fruition because I need some Super Bowl gear in silver and black. But the Raiders, they got a long-term coach. Hopefully they can pull together some postseason appearances, maybe some Super Bowl championships.
And now we got a sibling rivalry too.
Oh yeah,
the Redskins and the Raiders.
Yeah, Jay Gruden coaches the Redskins, but I think he's going to get fired soon, so we'll never know. The divisional playoffs are this weekend. On Saturday, we have the Battle of the Birds of Prey, Atlanta versus Philadelphia. Who you picking?
Ooh, I'm going to go with... Oh, dude, I want to say... I don't know, because Atlanta's such a dud sometimes. I'm gonna go with the Eagles, man.
I'm gonna go with Atlanta by like a point, dude. It's gonna be one of those games where it's a chess match the whole way through.
Yeah, it's gonna be close.
I'm just gonna go with Atlanta based off of the edge that they have at quarterback. They have a better quarterback, I believe, than Nick Foles.
Hey, don't sleep on Nick Foles.
Nick Foles is a real deal. He's a good quarterback. He could be a starter in Cleveland. But I don't know. It's going to be
Carlos,
a pretty good...
You could be a starter in Cleveland.
Hey, watch me. Catch me next season, bro. I might hang out with LeBron for a little bit just to get some motivation to be the next quarterback for the Browns.
A little pep talk.
Yeah, put the team on my back, you know. But later in that day, the Tennessee Titans face off against the New England Patriots. I don't know about this game. Everyone picks the Patriots because the track record it shows it for themselves, but I think Tennessee can make some noise up there in Boston because the Patriots defense struggles mightily against mobile quarterbacks. Marcus Mariota, obviously a dual threat, and the Titans defense has been playing extremely well. So look at that mismatch. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a surprise, and maybe New England gets sent home packing early this year.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't think so.
I just the whole point of the playoffs, you know what I mean, is upset, right? You always pick the upset, or you always want the upset. This is that upset game I see. I definitely could see the Tennessee Titans coming out with a slim margin victory against the Patriots off of a botched punt or off of a missed field goal, something. And then Sunday is a pretty good matchup lineup too. Jacksonville against Pittsburgh. We all remember what happened earlier in the season where Ben threw 5 interceptions against this Jacksonville defense. But Antonio Brown's healthy. Le'Veon Bell's been playing great. Ben Roethlisberger is again Ben Roethlisberger, and he's in the postseason. So I mean, he does things that are pretty damn good. I think Pittsburgh can come out with a win, but it's going to be a pretty nice matchup.
Yeah, the Steelers are no one to mess with and no one to sleep on, dude. But
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be such a dope game. Hopefully, it's a shootout.
And then that other game, the NFC divisional round, we have Minnesota versus New Orleans. Minnesota is looking to stay at home for the whole playoff race. They I don't know if you know this, Safe, but the Super Bowl is going to be in that Minnesota Vikings stadium, so they want to play at home in the Super Bowl.
Oh damn!
I don't think they could beat the Saints. I just think Drew Brees is too good.
Yeah, dude. There's just too much going on over with the Saints. Drew Brees is a legend, and then you got that running team. It's like,
I mean, if Case Keenum can come out and really play a good game and not throw an interception, not turn the ball over, then Minnesota has a really high chance. But I do think New Orleans is going to win this game just because Drew Brees is the X factor.
Yeah, Drew Brees is going to get it done, man.
Yeah, and then that's it for the divisional round. I think that's pretty much it for the NFL segment. It's the playoffs, so we're not going to have all the juicy details of every team since not every team can make it to the playoffs, but yeah, keep it locked. We got some more music coming up for you and then some soccer news, so stay tuned. This is Conor McGregor, and you're now listening to Hot Streak. Yo, we're back on Hot Streak. We got some international soccer news coming for you. Let's just get this kicked off with transfer news. We've been kind of foreshadowing this for a couple weeks now. Coutinho to Barcelona. Officially, it has been completed. He is now on the roster. Unfortunately, he actually has a quad injury, so he's going to be resting for a couple of weeks. I believe 20 days is the medical. He's going to be out for 20 days. So, Barcelona actually just got Dembele back. The midfield is looking like pretty crowded midfield right now. So Rakitic has been linked to a couple of moves outside of Spain, mainly Arsenal and Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool trying to fill the void that Coutinho leaves on that squad. So Rakitic, I mean, that's a pretty good team for him to land on, just because there is some attacking prowess on that team. I mean, they got some momentum in the Champions League. Maybe they'll get some momentum in the Europa League in the league once he gets there. I'm not sure if it's a done deal yet, but it's looking like it. And Manchester City is going to pursue Alexis Sanchez. I believe they gave him the option to sign this month. If he signs this month, it's a $20 million fee with a $15 million signing bonus. But if he waits and signs in July, he will be on a free transfer, so he'll go to that team for free, and he has a $30 million signing bonus. I don't know what he's gonna decide, but he should definitely leave Arsenal. I think just because of the fact that he's not there, and he has not been fulfilling his potential, I think, but. Yeah, there's a lot of transfer news. I mean, it's the beginning of the transfer window, so there's a lot of moves to be made this month. And teams that I think should be making some moves. Real Madrid. Interesting season for Real Madrid. They came off of the impressive Supercopa thrashing of Barcelona, where they beat them on aggregate. I think it was 4-1. And then in the league, they've struggled mightily. They are in fourth place, 16 points behind the leaders, and they actually just tied this weekend, so they are not having a great time. And I don't think Zinedine Zidane says he wants to buy anybody. He's not going to bring anyone into the squad. They are getting healthier, but they're still losing games. I don't know if they're going to make a change. I think it all depends on the results at the end of the season, but it's interesting. So matchups for the Spanish League this weekend, we have Barcelona versus Real Sociedad and Real Madrid versus Villarreal. And those are the main two teams that play this weekend. And the Premier League is interesting too. Manchester City's in first, Man United in second, Liverpool and Chelsea are in the 3 and the 4th spot. But the fixtures for this weekend, Chelsea versus Leicester, Tottenham Hotspur versus Everton, Arsenal versus Bournemouth, Liverpool versus Manchester City on Sunday. That should be a really good matchup. And Manchester United versus Stoke. And then in the German league, they're still on vacay. They don't play till actually no, they come back this weekend. Borussia Dortmund versus Wolfsburg. Bayern Munich versus Bayern Leverkusen. So some pretty good matchups. And then the French league has kicked off. Neymar and company are back to just scoring a bunch of goals. I believe they won 4-1 this past weekend. But they play on Saturday? No, they don't play on Saturday. They play on Sunday against Nantes. And they play next week as well in the middle of the week. The French league, we already know that PSG is in first, and they're looking like they're not gonna turn back. They're gonna win the French league pretty easily. In the Italian league, same thing. Napoli and Juventus are still within 1 point of each other. The fixtures for that should be pretty good. And then let's see. They don't come back until January 21st is their next match day. So we'll keep you posted on that once it gets closer to those dates. But as far as the international soccer news, that's pretty much it. I mean, keep it locked for the friendlies that are coming up for national teams. The pre-tournament tour for the World Cup is coming up, so a lot of teams are going to get ready for that. It's in the summer, as everyone knows. Super exciting. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it for this segment and this episode of Hot Streak. I just wanted to give out the plugs real quick. Follow us on follow us on Instagram at Hot Streak Podcast and on Twitter at Hot Streak Pod. And Saif, give them your at.
Yeah, I deleted my Instagram. Just follow us on the Hot Streak Podcast. We out here.
For sure. And then make sure you follow CRP shows on Instagram as well with all the cool content. And yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Episode 27 is a wrap. See you guys next week.
This was a Cesar Rodriguez production. Check out more at crpshows.com.